What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for NXT Takeover Toronto and SummerSlam reviews for the last 2 days. SummerSlam, of course, ending just about 30 minutes ago. SummerSlam getting done about 10:30 tonight. And so NXT Takeover Toronto, of course, happening last night from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Both of these shows, SummerSlam was, in my opinion, a thumbs down show, whereas Takeover Toronto was a good show. Wasn't the greatest takeover of all time. It wasn't the best takeover this year. If I had to list off the 4 takeovers we've had so far this year, it goes Phoenix, it goes New York, Toronto, and 25. Those are my top 4 right now. We still have War Games to go with the War Games match. SummerSlam tonight, just I did pretty good in the predictions on SummerSlam. I did terrible when it came to Toronto. But SummerSlam just, it didn't feel like a big deal. It didn't feel like WWE cared enough to get me to care enough to feel like this is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. SummerSlam, like, it had legends. It had title matches. One title change this entire weekend. No title changes last night, and the only title to change hand, shockingly mind you, was the main event, which we'll get to later. We had the debut of The Fiend with his new rendition of his theme back when he was Bray Wyatt the Cultist. We had Trish Stratus in what looks to be her final hurrah, finally in her hometown, as she took on Charlotte Flair. NXT, of course, we had the 2 out of 3 falls, 3 stages of hell match between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole, and the talk of possibly Johnny Gargano being sent off, and last night was his final match in NXT, and I'll give you my thoughts on that. NXT TakeOver Toronto started off with the one and only Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era. There's a big theme when it came to the WWE this week when it came to the city of Toronto. Of course, as you know, 2 months ago, the Toronto Raptors did the unthinkable, unseated the reigning 2-time defending NBA champions and won the NBA championship pretty much with the help of Kawhi Leonard and putting that team on his back. Last night, you had the Street Profits decked out in purple and red Toronto Raptors colors. You had the Mounties music play. I'm the Mountie music play for the Velveteen Dreams entrance, while you had the Raptors dance squad come out be part of that entire entrance and do a dance number while it flashed up Toronto champions 2018 or 2019 NBA champions. And then tonight, Kofi Kingston actually wore a set. His getup was Toronto Raptors inspired. They had the unicorn on his tights, inspired by the original Raptors logo, and on his pants, a little bit further down on one side, was the modern Raptors logo, or one of the modern Raptors logos, the secondary logo, in the shape of a unicorn head, with the ears and the horn being the middle claw. So Toronto's basketball team, out of every sport that they do, which of course is football, which is soccer, MLS, basketball, baseball, and hockey, they got a lot of love for I know the NBA championship was a big deal in Toronto and all of Canada, as it was the first championship won outside the United States. WWE, it was great to see them pay homage and actually celebrate the Toronto Raptors NBA championship. Of course, Elias was in a concert tonight, and he made fun of the Toronto of the Stanley Cup Finals and whatnot, because the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't been so lucky lately. But anyway, back to NXT TakeOver. Undisputed Era versus Street Profits for the NXT Tag Team titles. Of course, going into this NXT TakeOver, Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era vowed that each and every one of them would come out at wearing gold, and the Undisputed Era would be draped in gold completely. This was a good match. Was it the best tag team match of the year? No. I still would contest that the Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders at the time was the best match that we had. Aleister Black and Ricochet versus the War Raiders was second. The ladder match was great last TakeOver, but it wasn't You can't compare a fatal four-way ladder match to singles matches. So that is its own entity. It was a good match. This match was good. The other two matches were great. So the Undisputed Era actually do not win the tag team titles, as Montez Ford gets a frog splash onto Kyle O'Reilly after Angelo Dawkins spears both Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish out of their boots. 1, 2, 3, and the Street Profits continue to be your tag team champions. I was absolutely shocked with the fact that since Paul Heyman has quote-unquote taken over as executive director, the Street Profits have been a focus on Monday Night Raw in a backstage capacity. I figured they would have lost last night and go on to make it to Monday Night Raw. Now, a little bit later during the show, during the Miriam and Shayna Baszler match, I checked on YouTube, on Twitter for a second, and WWE's, I think it was NXT's page, put out a tweet where the Undisputed Era claimed that Kyle O'Reilly was not the legal man. So I would have to go back and watch that match. I think Bobby Fish actually was the legal man in that match, and if that is the case, then they have a grape. And we can honestly see during the next set of tapings, the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era, where the Undisputed Era get the tag team titles. That was a nice way to weave in the fact that they didn't want to have the Undisputed Era coming out of this entire pay-per-view strong as competing. They didn't want them to go out looking weak by having everyone lose their matches and look weak in doing so, which honestly none of the Undisputed Era looked weak coming out of NXT TakeOver Toronto last night. This was a good match. If you do like tag team wrestling, don't watch anything on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. Watch NXT and watch NXT takeovers. Due to the fact that you have what looks like AEW is going to have a great tag team division, you want to see something that has great tag team wrestling. Watch NXT for the time being, because this was another stellar NXT Tag Team Championship match. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next set of tapings, which will be done on Thursday. So let's see what happens with the NXT Tag Team Championship situation as we move forward into the fall. And we have about 14 weeks, I believe, 14 weeks until we get to NXT TakeOver War Games. So we have a long way to go. And if things go the way it usually does, we could honestly probably see the Undisputed Era again for the third year in a row be in War Games. I wouldn't do that. I would have them defend their titles if they have the championships. I would like to see an NXT versus NXT UK War Games match, because I think that would just be awesome. Maybe you could have Adam Cole on one side versus Volta on the other side, and have maybe it would be the Undisputed Era if they all get the championships. It could be Undisputed Era versus Volta, the Grizzled Young Vets, or whoever's the tag team champions, and I know they don't have a secondary title, and they have a fourth person. I think that would be awesome. Just great back and forth action. Make sure to check out this match if you have not seen it yet. But that was the first match of the night. Definitely a damn good match from the Street Profits and the Undisputed Era. With the fact that the revelation that Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, I let Kathy Kelly know, and the YouTube page know, or the Twitter page know, or WWE.com know, that Kyle O'Reilly was not the legal man. I fully expect to hear something about that on the Aftermath show, which I will be reviewing because the finals of the Breakout Tournament is happening on that show, as well as Breezango versus Forgotten Sons. Let's see where that goes. But I'm sure we will have a rematch between these two, and quite honestly, because it is NXT, I would not be mad to see that in the next set of tapings. Or if they want to push it a little bit further, we have. I looked this up last night after the show. I wanted to see how the taping schedule is going to go. They have one set of tapings on Thursday, and then after those 4 weeks are up, in that fourth week, they're going to tape on the 11th and 12th of September to get us to War Games. So whether it happens in the next set of tapings or the tapings after that, I can't wait to see the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era again, and next time I fully expect the Undisputed Era to walk out as your new NXT Tag Team Champions, and Kyle O'Reilly making history as the only 3-time NXT Tag Team Champion. After the match, we go to break. We come back, and Gargano is warming up. He looks over and sees a ladder and just shakes his head. He's like, yeah, I could use this. Then they show Ricochet in the crowd, so he's sitting on the ringside and gets his part. We get a video package for the next match, which is Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. This match, I fully expected to see Candice LeRae just go out there and be ragdoll around and have Io Shirai become the new Shayna Baszler with what I thought was going to be later in the night, but we'll get to that later. These two went out there and killed it. Matches like this that was for not a championship is the reason I want to see more than one women's matches on this show. This just shows that there should be, if they're not having a blow-off match or something in the men's division, they should have a second women's match. These two went out there and showed you why NXT's women's division is the best women's division in WWE. They went out there and tried to beat the living hell out of each other. And Io Shirai, I've got to say this, I have not listened to anyone else's review. I have not listened to anybody else's podcast or anything. Io Shirai in the black and a little bit I think it was lime green. I have a pair of gloves here that like yellowish green, and that's what the color it looked like. That was the opposite of the black in Io Shirai's color scheme. But just the way they have Io Shirai looking dark and brooding and evil and sinister is the exact opposite of a Asuka, Kairi Sane. Anything you see in AEW, man. The way they changed Io Shirai into this dark, brooding, evil woman just goes against anything we've seen in WWE or AEW with the Joshi women. So, I'm loving this Io Shirai, and whenever Shayna Baszler leaves NXT, they have the best heel to take her spot. I will say, though, during the beginning of this match, there was a Hurricane Rana that I believe Candice LeRae tried to do to Io Shirai, and Io Shirai did a nip-up flip-over, and just posed, and that popped the crowd up huge, and I'm like, that move should not be something Io Shirai should be doing. She is just turned heel, and she should not be trying to do any move that's going to get the crowd to pop. This isn't a crowd that if she did that 10 years ago and posed, the crowd would be booing her heavily. It's real hard, I know for a fact, it's real hard for heels to get over in this day and age because of the fact that they are going, crowds, you want to try and build somebody up to be a heel, you do something spectacular and the fans are going to cheer you and pop for it instead of booing, like they should every time Io Shirai does something. There is not much I could say about this match that Io Shirai eventually tries to go for the moonsault. She hits it, 1-2, kick out. She's getting pissed and frustrated at the fact that Io Shirai will not stay down. So what does she do? She beats on Candice in frustration. Shirai with a Koji clutch in the middle of the ring. She has this Koji clutch, and then she seems to be slipping away, but she gets her legs around Candice LeRae, and just puts the hold on, and just continues to squeeze with her legs wrapped around Candice LeRae's neck. Candice passes out. Ref calls for the bell. Io Shirai is your winner. This match should have went this way. Honestly, I was thinking that Io Shirai was just going to go in there and do what she did to Casey Catanzaro and beat the hell out of Candice LeRae, and that was going to be it. Happily say that did not happen. Io Shirai looking like a killer. Now, one of the biggest things that WWE needs to do is because Shayna Baszler is on her way out eventually. There's no doubt in my mind, by the time this year is up, Shayna Baszler will be on the main roster. It would not surprise me that she would show up on Monday Night Raw and be the one to challenge Becky Lynch for the rest of the year. They need somebody who is going to be able to take Shayna Baszler's spot, and that is going to be Io Shirai. Now, back when Asuka was running through all of the women's division, they had the first ever Mae Young Classic, which saw Kairi Sane win it. In that Mae Young Classic, of course, was Shayna Baszler. She made her debut and she lost in the finals to Kairi Sane. While they were getting Shayna Baszler ready to take over the women's division, as she has in the last year and a half, they needed somebody in between Asuka and Shayna Baszler, and they had Ember Moon. Ember Moon gave Asuka some of her best matches in NXT. Ember Moon held that division. It wasn't as long as, say, when 3 of the 4 horsewomen of WWE went to the main roster. They had Bayley hold that down while Asuka was building herself up and eventually taking over at NXT Takeover Dallas. So they needed somebody to hold that division down from the end of 2017 to the start of 2018, and that person was Ember Moon. Right now, I was hoping the women's match, when we go to later on, would end a little bit differently, because Io Shirai is going to be that one to take the title off of whoever beats Shayna Baszler. Just saying that right now. They are building Io Shirai up right now to be the one to be the dominant champion in NXT when Shayna Baszler is gone. And the fact that they turned her heel is not going to, it does signify the imminent end of Shayna Baszler's time in NXT, because you don't need 2 big dominant heels. Io's just getting started. Shayna is going to be on eventually. But Io Shirai with a win wasn't as dominant as I thought it was going to be, but she ended up winning the match. We go back to break, and they thank Slipknot for the Unsainted single as the theme song. We see Shayna Baszler warming up, and they start hyping up the North American title match. But Matt Riddle got himself a microphone from the stage, from the mic crew, and is like, "Hold on, this is Takeover. We're not doing this right now. Killian Dane, I want you in. I know you're here, so get your ass out here so I can teach you, so I can get my revenge on you, pretty much." Dane comes out. These guys brawl from the ringside area all the way up to the stage. Bunch of security comes out. Matt Riddle, pissed off, knocks a bunch of these guys out. Killian Dane does the same thing. Riddle gets on the back on Dane's back, and Dane is looking for a way to get Riddle off of him. One of these security guards gets up and standing at the edge of the stage, ready to take this fall that's about to happen. All of a sudden, Killian Dane, with Matt Riddle on his back, runs over towards this security guard, just pulls his arm out and clotheslines this guy and runs off the stage with Matt Riddle. So he's like, "I'm taking, Matt Riddle and me are having this fight, and you're coming with us," and takes them all down. And that was that. This is going to be a great freaking. By the way, Matt Riddle hit a GTS too, which of course the crowd popped for, and they didn't mention. Surprised there were no CM Punk chants. If there were, they got ground out. But damn, what a spot! Holy shit chants as officials kept on them, and that was that. Then we come back from a little bit of a break here, and we see Austin Theory, the Evolve champion, in the ring at ringside. Now, it makes me question, is Austin Theory signed to NXT? Usually when we see somebody who's not signed to NXT at the time, or is a recently new signing, they show up in the crowd. Austin Theory was in the crowd. So is Austin Theory the next man to be coming to NXT? I've heard Jack the Jobber talk this guy up so highly on a lot of stuff on Cultaholic. So I have not seen the Evolve anniversary. I just might have to check that out sometime soon. But is Austin Theory in NXT? And if he is, what are your thoughts on Austin Theory in NXT if he is in? Triple threat match, North American title match, Roderick Strong, Pete Dunne, and Velveteen Dream. This was the match of the night, in my opinion. I put a list, I put from top to bottom what were the best matches of the night. This was my number 1. Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae was my number 3. And the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era was my 4th match of the night. This match was probably the best booked match you have seen for a triple threat match. Triple threat matches are so hard to get right because you got to give everyone the time, each equal amount of time. And with egos in WWE and other parts of the world, some guys want to try and outshine other guys. These guys went out there and put on one hell of a fucking match. As I mentioned earlier, we had the Mounties theme song play, and this is 2019. The fact that we heard the Mountie, I'm the Mountie, in 2019 is just crazy. The bottom LEDs had the Canadian flag on it. You had people coming out wearing Mountie hats. We couldn't see anything completely because it was mostly darkened. There was a little bit of light from the screen. But you had people come out and wearing Mountie gear, like doing a march, and then the music stops. And then the Toronto Raptors logo comes up, they take the stuff off, and it's the dance troupe for the Toronto Raptors. I don't know what WWE did, how much they paid or something, but it feels like they cut a deal with the Toronto Raptors to help celebrate their 2019 NBA championship. The only thing that didn't happen that I'm surprised didn't happen is when the Velveteen Dream came out, I'm surprised he wasn't carrying the Larry O'Brien trophy above his head. That would have been, I think, the icing on the cake of some kind. He comes out, and why this happened is because apparently Velveteen Dream said that he was adopting Canada as his home country for this match. So we would have a representative from Canada, the United States, and England. So, yeah. The dancers dance around him. He makes his way down the ramp to a pop. Mario indicates that the dancers were from the Raptors. Of course they were, because you had the two guys had the Raptors jerseys on, and then you had all the women who looked like the cheerleaders that you would see at an NBA game. I sat here, I popped for it, I thought it was cool, I thought it was awesome what happened earlier this year with the Raptors winning a championship. Was a different change of pace, great for them. Velveteen Dream came out with a Mountie hat on, he had suspenders and a white jacket on. So, that was that. Roderick Strong came out, Pete Dunne came out. So much good stuff in this match, I can't really go through it all. Pete Dunne with the finger manipulation, of course. Roderick Strong at the beginning of the match was yelling at both of these guys that it doesn't matter what Dream does, doesn't matter what Dunne does, it's all about him, they need to pay attention to him. Just great matching overall. I cannot tell you that, I can't talk about this match enough as it is. You had a double stronghold on both Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne at the same time in this match. Dream with the sharpshooter. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something too, because during the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era tag team match, Montez Ford hit a rock bottom and tried to go for a people's elbow beforehand and ended up getting stopped. Here we had a sharpshooter to Strong. Dunne goes up top and nails a drop kick to Dream, back to the sharpshooter. Dream and Dunne end up on the floor. Dream decks him, but Strong goes to the apron. This match just all over the place. These guys were absolutely fantastic. I cannot tell you enough. I cannot talk this match up enough. This was, again, my match of the night. We had an X-Plax, Dream Valley Driver, Olympic Slam from Strong to Dream to Pete Dunne. I'm sorry, to Dream. In the end, I was sort of right when it came to my predictions how this match would come to an end. I didn't think it was going to end like this, but what I said in my predictions was it was going to come down to Pete Dunne and Velveteen Dream with the finish. I figured one of those guys was going to pin and make the other one submit, and you're going to have Roderick Strong trying to reach out unsuccessfully to stop the pinfall because he's so beaten up. That's exactly what happened. You had Strong getting drops done over his knee. He barely connects. Dream runs right back in. Strong with a pin attempt, but Dream with the elbow drop pins Pete Dunne for the 1, 2, 3. That was that. All three guys looked absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen Pete Dunne wrestle since the Takeover New York match where he lost the UK Championship. He looked absolutely fantastic. All three guys looked great. Pete Dunne looked great in a loss. Strong looked good in a loss that he didn't get pinned in, and Velveteen Dream looked good in winning his match. Velveteen Dream is the second longest reigning champion in NXT right now, right behind Shayna Baszler. Back from break, and Mario now gives another shout out to the NBA champions, Toronto Raptors, as a graphic for them is shown. We see Mia Yim backstage rolling up as Phoenix sends I don't know why it says Phoenix sends us to a video package for the next match, and we have Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler. A lot of hate coming for this match. This match, I didn't expect this to be a 5-star classic. I didn't expect this match to be a barn burner. This match I enjoyed because it was different. Shayna Baszler pretty much had her own medicine brought against her. You had Mia Yim acting, she was the baby face for the match, but she had so many heelish tactics. She was pulling the hair, she was gouging the eyes, she put Shayna Baszler's arm in between one of the ring steps and kicked it. She was trying everything she could to get Shayna Baszler to lose this match. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Shayna Baszler ends up winning this one with a triangle submission with her knees. She pretty much did the exact same submission that Io Shirai did to Candice LeRae, only the opponent was in a different position. And Candice LeRae passed out, and Mia Yim ended up tapping out. I don't know who is beating Shayna Baszler. They did mention that the Mae Young Classic is coming back. It's going to be coming back this year. It's got to be soon. It has got to be soon. You have to announce the Mae Young Classic within the next few weeks, the next week or two. Take the entire damn thing and have it go through September and October if you want the winner to have a match against Shayna Baszler at War Games. That is the only thing I could think they were doing. Like I said earlier, they had Asuka run through the entire division and win matches, but she made most people she was in that show, those matches, look strong as can be, look better after they're done. Shayna Baszler hasn't done that. Shayna Baszler has literally killed this entire division. I don't know who they're going to have beat Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler will probably keep the championship until War Games, and I don't know after that. I was figuring Mia Yim would win this title, have it for a little bit, lose it to either Bianca Belair or Io Shirai, most likely Io Shirai, and then Candice LeRae could chase after Io Shirai, not have multitude of matches, maybe have a match at War Games again, lose there by nefarious means, and then we get the match at WrestleMania weekend in Tampa, and she would win it there. Now, Bianca Belair put a tweet out after the show, or not too long after the show, that Mia Yim is irrelevant and she wants Shayna Baszler. Unfortunately, Bianca Belair, you don't deserve a championship opportunity. You haven't done anything but be a loser when it comes to facing Shayna Baszler. We don't have anybody at this time. I believe Dakota Kai mentioned something and was taking shots at me, taking a shot that she wants. I could be reading this wrong, but she put some like conflicted reasons or something out on Twitter, and I was like, is she pointing out the fact that she wants to face Shayna Baszler? Which would make sense because of that feud that they were having before she tore her ACL, what was the Sky Pirates and Dakota Kai versus the Horsewomen, in that very, very bad 6-woman tag match. Let's not talk about that. Anyway, so I don't know. They have 14 weeks to build up somebody to take on Shayna Baszler. It's not going to be Mia Yim. It's not going to be Candice LeRae. It's not going to be Io Shirai. She's busy trying to build herself up to take over the reins of the women's division after Shayna Baszler is called up to the main roster. I don't know, but they've got to figure out something to build up somebody for Shayna Baszler, because honestly, nobody in the women's division right now, to me, is a believable challenger to Shayna Baszler. We see Walter and Tyler Bate in the ringside area because they will be facing off against each other at NXT Takeover Cardiff on August 31st. 3 hours before AEW All Out, I will be watching Cardiff, maybe, but I'm not going to be reviewing it. Maybe I'll watch Cardiff, I'm not sure. But I'm not going to be reviewing it. I haven't been around the UK division at all since TakeOver Blackpool, so I think I'm going to just pass on that one. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls for the NXT title. Before we got to the show, we did see what the third fall was going to be, a barbed wire steel cage match. Not Hell in a Cell to me, but it was the closest we could get. This match was overbooked, overdone. They tried too hard to top what they did in TakeOver New York and TakeOver 25. Basically, this is what happened. They had a fun, hard-fought singles match that Johnny Gargano ended up getting DQ'd. And here's the problem with what I think of how this. And Johnny Gargano, in the end, looks like an idiot. Johnny Gargano, the character in NXT, looks stupid because he lost this match. I'm just going to tell you right now. Johnny Gargano is not NXT champion. Adam Cole still is. Gargano looks stupid because he got himself purposely disqualified to get to the next stage, which was going to be his match that he chose, which was a street fight. And it would have been all fine and good if they would have did this where Gargano starts battering Adam Cole, which they did, battering him, and then hitting, and then just pinning him, and that was it. But no, they had another 10-15 minute match. They had Gargano sell to Adam Cole, who just got battered by a chair. They had Adam Cole looking like he possibly could go up to, like, win this match and make Johnny Gargano look really stupid. Which in the end, Johnny Gargano still looks really stupid because he let Adam Cole win the first fall. And in the end, it's his own fault that he's not NXT champion. But of course, that is how Johnny Gargano has looked in a lot of the matches, especially against Tommaso Ciampa, where he lets his pride, lets his like, I wouldn't say heart, but lets his ego or something get, like, his stubbornness get in his way and cost him matches. So he gets disqualified in the first match. He wins the second fall after they have another 10-15 minute match. And then we go into this third fall. There's tables, there's chairs, there's a ladder, there's a chair set up on the top of a corner, there's sledgehammers, there's kendo sticks, and then there's this brown sack. When you see a cage match or any hardcore match and you see a brown sack or any sack at all, what is your first thought? Hey, tacks, glass, Legos nowadays? What is your first thought? Most likely, 9 times out of 10, it's either thumbtacks or glass. We didn't get either of those. We got wire cutters, brass knuckles, and handcuffs. The crowd, when Johnny Gargano grabbed that sack of whatever was in it, that brown sack, the crowd went ballistic because they're like, "Oh, we got tacks." And when he flipped everything over and there was nothing in there but wire cutters, brass knuckles, and handcuffs, the crowd went booed, like, we're pissed. They wanted to see tacks. I wanted to see tacks, and what did we get? We got wire cutters. Because what happened was Gargano went up to the top of the cage and cut the wires, cut a section of the wire, and brought it over to chase Adam Cole up to the top where the chair was at. Wanted to use it on him. Cole stopped him, and they both went falling into the second table because there were 2 tables set up, and Gargano loses because Adam Cole gets his arm over him for the 1, 2, 3, and Adam Cole is your winner. This match did not need to be 2 out of 3 falls. Last man standing or an Iron Man match, and a hardcore Iron Man match would have been better than this. This was definitely Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler was the weakest match of the show. People want to say this is the best match of the night. Last night you were out of your mind. The triple threat match was the best match of the night. This was number 2 to me just because of how convoluted it was. I cannot give that match a 2 out of 3 falls. Another 2 out of 3 falls match, a number 1 shot match of the night at all. Was it the best match between these two? No. That was definitely Takeover. Takeover New York. Takeover 25 was 2. This was 3. I just can't say that this was a great match. It doesn't help the fact that WWE for about a month and a half decided they were going to do 2 out of 3 fall matches every single week on Raw and SmackDown Live and kill that concept. One of the cool things that Johnny Gargano was doing on this night is that he came out with his favorite comic, one of his, like, the Canadian comic book hero, Wolverine. I thought that was awesome. No Josiah Williams to route Adam Cole to the ring last night, which I was, like, really disappointed with. I was really hoping we would hear Josiah again. I think that would have been awesome, but we didn't. So, yeah. Match was... It went 50 minutes plus a couple breaks here and there because they had to bring the cage down during the second. Which, by the way, they hid the cage real well. I didn't even realize the cage was up there. I was like watching NXT Takeover all night, and I'm like, "Isn't there a cage up there?" But when they showed the cage coming down, you see a black curtain or something around it, like a black cylinder around it that hid the cage, which I thought was really, really cool for them to do, because it is kind of obvious, and it's kind of like an eyesore when you're watching a show that's going to have a cage match on it, and you do wide shots, and you see the cage plain as day. Like, it's just how it is. But that was the end of NXT TakeOver Toronto. Was it the best TakeOver for the year? No. Was it the second best? No. Third? No. Fourth? It's where it is right now. Now, after the show went off the air, Wrestling Inc. put a video out. It showed Johnny Gargano getting Thank You Johnny chants, Candice LeRae coming out, those two going up to the stage, and William Regal giving Johnny Gargano a hug, and that looks to be a send-off for Johnny Gargano. I think that's bullshit. Johnny Gargano has been Mr. NXT for the last 3 years, for like 3 years. He has been on like every single takeover for the last 3 years or so. And you're going to give him a send-off to the live crowd, but not to the fans at home? That's bullshit. They did a send-off for Trish Stratus tonight. It happened to the live crowd, and it happened to everyone watching at home. That's bullshit. He better be on Thursday's episodes of like taping of NXT. It might just be one episode, fine, whatever. He better have a send-off to fans who don't go to these shows or aren't around these shows can see Johnny Gargano one last time in NXT. It's going to suck because if that was the last match that we saw for Johnny Gargano in NXT, it's going to be a bummer because we know what happens when they go to the main roster. He is small. He's one of the smallest guys in the company. Vince McMahon's going to look at him and go, "What's so special about him? He's a vanilla midget." And he's going to do nothing. Johnny Gargano is going to be a victim of Vince McMahon's ego. Yes, they say Bischoff and Heyman are in charge. I don't buy that shit. Bischoff and Heyman are going to have no power, and Bischoff and Heyman we're going to see as Bischoff and Heyman do nothing to stop Vince McMahon from ruining Johnny Gargano. I'll get to Ricochet in a minute because what he wore tonight was absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully it was just for tonight. But look at Ricochet. He was a superstar in NXT. He was untouchable in NXT. He could do no wrong in NXT. And what have they done with him on Monday Night Raw? They have buried him since WrestleMania. They have ruined the specialness. His goddamn entrance has little pews in it, which were not there in NXT. They got rid of his lasers. They got rid of everything that makes Ricochet special. Why? Because Vince McMahon is a worthless asshole piece of shit who cares about nobody coming out of NXT. If your name isn't Roman Reigns or Charlotte Flair, Vince McMahon does not give a fuck about you. It's absolute bullshit. Nobody like Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Aleister Black, or anybody who's on NXT, on Raw or SmackDown Live from NXT, or people coming up, are going to see any kind of major pushes until Vince McMahon is dead and buried. I don't want to see Johnny Gargano go to the main roster. Johnny Gargano is better than the main roster. He's above the main roster. He has been Mr. NXT, and he should stay where he belongs. They want to put NXT on FS1 for 2 hours when AEW starts in October. Johnny Gargano should be in NXT, where he is going to help build that brand and give people a reason to watch NXT. I'm hoping that the so-called send-off was not the end for Johnny Gargano. They could do something with him. It's not going to be for the championship, but they need to find something for him in NXT. Yes, him not going for the championship is about him. He will be gone from NXT. He will be doing something else on Raw and SmackDown. Very little. He's going to be going to catering, and that's where he's going to stay. They'll bring him up. He'll have one or two matches on the main roster, and then he's going to be buried, just like everybody else. He's not going to be special anymore, and it's going to suck. Johnny Gargano has been the heart, the soul, the blood, the sweat, and the tears of NXT since 2016 at least. And to see him be brought up to the main roster and pretty much going to be buried is going to be a damn shame. I can't justify them bringing him up. They still haven't used half of the roster they brought up. EC3 has been catering since his matches with Dean Ambrose. What about Heavy Machinery? They've had one match on pay-per-view. That was it. Nikki Cross is only doing something because she's friends with, because she and Alexa Bliss have become friends, like made good friends. Lacey Evans was the only one to really do anything. Lars Sullivan's out for the entire year. There's no reason to bring anybody else up. You have the Street Profits being clowns in the hype men and clowns in the background of Monday Night Raw. They're not even wrestling on these shows. The Viking Raiders are doing nothing but facing jobbers again and again and again with no crowd reaction. Andrade, they don't know what they're doing with him. So bringing Johnny Gargano up, what is that going to do for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live? Absolutely nothing. He's going to be buried. He's going to be useless. Nobody's going to fucking use him the right way. He could get over like that, but they're not going to do that. Johnny Gargano needs to stay what people know, and when they go to 2 hours, they're going to need star power in NXT, guys, and Johnny Gargano is one of those guys, plain and simple. We move over to SummerSlam. When we got into there were 12 matches for SummerSlam. The Cruiserweight Championship, of course, was added to the pre-show last minute. Apollo Crews and Buddy Murphy, for some reason, was put on the kickoff show. And then the Women's Tag Team Championships were put on the pre-show as Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, what happened to no automatic rematches, were put on the pre-show to take on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Only looking got beat by Drew Gulak. Buddy Murphy won by DQ after Rowan came out and destroyed him because of what he said on Tuesday, and he told him to keep his name out of his mouth. By the way, Buddy Murphy's got new music, which I'm fine with. Hopefully this is a start. I mean, his first match was a kickoff show match, even though he won by DQ, but at least it's something. He's actually on TV. He got moved to SmackDown in April. 4 months later, he's finally having a match. Are you kidding me? Does anyone else see a problem with that? And then, thankfully, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross beat the Idiotics. Hopefully, that is the last time we see Peyton Royce and Billie Kay anywhere near the championships, ever. Of course, tomorrow night, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross will take on the team of Kairi Sane and Asuka. Let's see. Oh, during this pre-show, we had Elias have a concert. He's making fun of the Stanley Cup. He's making fun of the Maple Leafs. He's making fun of Toronto. Talks about how he talks trash on the Toronto Raptors because Kawhi Leonard left. And then, after his music's over, Edge comes out. Edge, you know, the radio superstar, Canada's own, comes out, stands in the ring on the opposite corner of Elias, and actually hits a fucking spear. He hit a spear. Edge, the guy who, if he would have taken a wrong bump in 2011, would have been paralyzed. And I'm sitting here thinking, I hope I'm not the only one thinking this, is like, oh God, is Edge going to be there on October 31st to have some kind of match at Crown Jewel 2019? Do I see that as a possibility? Probably not, but other things have happened. You can never say never. He hit a spear and looked good doing it. It would not surprise me if Edge comes out of retirement somehow, some way, to take on somebody at Crown Jewel. It wouldn't put WWE past it at all. We started the show off with Becky Lynch versus Natalya for the Raw Women's Championship in a submission match. Nothing special about this match whatsoever. Becky, pretty much it was these guys. Becky attacked Natalya's arm, and Natalya attacked Becky's leg. They tried each other's submissions on each other. Natalya ends up tapping out to disarm her after trying to get Becky Lynch to tap out to the sharpshooter. Nothing else I can say about that. Not a very memorable match. It was a serviceable match. These women went out there and did what they could do. Please get Becky Lynch somebody worth facing. Then we had Dolph Ziggler versus Goldberg. Ziggler comes out and says, I don't even think Goldberg's going to show up tonight. We know he doesn't show up for matches. And I dare anybody who wants to run their mouth to come out here and face me. Goldberg's music hits. He comes out, Pretty much this is the match. 2 super kicks, spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Dolph Ziggler loses to Goldberg. So that was that. Goldberg goes to leave. Dolph Ziggler grabs the mic, says, "You hit me like that. I felt like getting hit by a baby." If there's one thing I would do, I would not tell Goldberg that you hitting me with a spear felt like being hit like a baby. I'm just saying. Goldberg hits another spear, gets out of the ring, heads to the back, looks like everything's done. Ziggler grabs the mic again, starts trash some more. Goldberg comes out, does a double bounce, like he picks Ziggler up, taps him on the shoulder and says, this ain't worth it. Ziggler's standing there, Goldberg bounces off one rope, bounces off the other, hits another spear, and that was that. A little overkill, don't you think? Miz is supposed to face Dolph Ziggler tomorrow night, so let's see how that goes. But I think this is a little overkill. I guess this was WWE's way of getting the most time out of Goldberg as they could. I hope this is the last time we see Goldberg in the ring. I don't need to see him again. He looked good just because it was a 1 minute and 50-second match. Dolph Ziggler got 2 hits on him. Dolph Ziggler said this is a match nobody's gonna like. It's gonna be a match that everyone's gonna remember. Not really. You're just another victim who got beat in 1 minute and 50 seconds and then got speared twice afterwards. 3 spears was enough. 1 spear was enough and a jackhammer. Why we needed the overkill of Dolph Ziggler getting hit twice with a spear, 3 times with the spear, is beyond me. Ricochet versus AJ Styles United States Championship. I don't know what the fuck Ricochet was wearing. He looked like a knockoff Nightwing. Seriously. I swear, did Ricochet go talk to Dick Grayson about his costume designs, because he literally looked like Nightwing without the mask and the cape. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Hopefully, it's just a SumerSlam attire. If it is, fine, whatever. It is what it is. But god damn, did that look weird. You know what I forgot also to say? They had pyro tonight. Goldberg had pyro for his thing. They had pyro to open the show. Brock Lesnar got pyro, and I don't know if anyone else got pyro, but there was pyro tonight, by the way. Felt great. They don't have to do pyro for Raw and SmackDown if they want. Raw opening with pyro is all they should do. SmackDown Live, same thing. Get that pyro going. And then after that, if they don't want to do pyro for everyone's entrances, that's fine. But the pyro, when we watched Monday Night Raw, back in the day when they started using pyro, it made, you had especially when you were at home, you had the badass opening video package, and then pyro. You were ready for Monday Night Raw. It got you amped. It got you going. Like I said, not everyone has to have pyro. If you just want pyro for the opening and that's it, fine, cool, whatever. But, yeah, Goldberg getting pyro without pyro would have been just weird. Before we got to the Ricochet AJ Styles match, they did the media roll for all the foreign announced teams. And we got to, I believe it was Japan, and Truth and Carmella were in disguise. Carmella's like, "Hi, I'm Shania Twain, you're welcome to," and I was like, "I'm out. I'm done. I'm gone out of here." They not do all the introductions, and we see Drake Maverick as a referee looking for Truth and Carmella, and we go to the ring as Ricochet waits. Out comes AJ Styles. Another thing they added back tonight was the CGI graphics for certain superstars. They did it for Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss on the pre-show. They did it for Brock Lesnar. They did it for the OCs. I believe, they did it for Charlotte. The one they did for Charlotte wasn't like her eyes or anything like they think they did at WrestleMania. They just did sparkling, glittering stuff, and I was like, really? That's what you wasted your CGI budget on, was sparkling glitter? This entire feud between Ricochet and AJ Styles has been absolutely disappointing, and it's not their fault. This should have been epic proportion type matches. I've seen these two work outside of the company. I've seen what Ricochet did in NXT. I've seen what Ricochet has done against the likes of Rey Mysterio, Will Ospreay, Speedball Mike Bailey. I believe he had a match with him. Kushida, everyone else. I've seen what this guy can do. And this is what you give us, is these guys going out there, giving us... I just don't know. I just can't go out there and say that these guys have had a great feud. This is WWE's fault because they hand-pissed and booked these guys to look inferior to what they should be doing. These guys should be going out there giving you match of the year candidate type matches. And you don't get that. Too much interference from the OCs. I do like the way the match ended because Ricochet goes for a corkscrew, but AJ catches him, hits with the Styles Clash, 1, 2, 3, and AJ Styles retains the championship. I fully expected AJ Styles to win this match for the simple fact is they just had the OCs return and reunite and get renamed the OCs. You don't want them going out there looking weak and losing a championship already. AJ wins. After the match, Ricochet gets hit with a magic killer just to add insult to injury. SmackDown Women's title, Bayley versus Ember Moon. This was a sloppy match. This was a match that, honestly, the crowd didn't care about. And you can't blame them because of how badly WWE books these shows. WWE pretty much had Bayley go out there, challenge Ember Moon, and you had Ember Moon beat Charlotte within 1 minute in a match that should have went a lot longer. It was just to save a commercial break, which made absolutely no goddamn sense because it happened on SmackDown Live. You can do picture-in-picture on SmackDown Live. I don't know why Raw can't. In this match, it was sloppy. This is not either one of these women's best effort. This match should have been better than it was. I'm really disappointed in how these two went in this match. There were so many botches, so much sloppiness. It just felt like these two were not giving you the best they could. Bayley DeBello off the top rope for the 1, 2, 3, and Bayley continues as your SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon as we move on. I'm just so disappointed in the Bayley and Ember Moon match. That was another match that should have been a show stealer. Honestly, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar was your match of the night. Plain and simple. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins was match of the night. And honestly, I didn't think I'd be saying that going into this show. With Ricochet versus versus AJ Styles, Ember Moon versus Bayley, Trish versus Charlotte, Kofi versus Randy Orton. The match of the night was Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. And that's saying something. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. If Kevin Owens loses, he must quit. Before we get to the match, of course, Shane McMahon had to bring out a special ringside enforcer in Elias. And I'm sitting here thinking, what a great way of you selling the spear that you got earlier in the show, in the pre-show. Just a real good way. Where was Drew McIntyre? What happened to Drew McIntyre being one of Shane McMahon's cronies? Is that over? I hope the fuck it is, because Drew McIntyre needs to stand on his own 2 feet. Pretty much, Shane McMahon and him have a back-and-forth match. Elias tries his best to keep Shane McMahon from losing this match, pisses Kevin Owens off so fucking much. The referee starts arguing with Elias on the outside, cannonball to both officials. Elias ends up coming back in to stop Kevin Owens from doing something to take out, to use the chair on Shane McMahon, as Elias threw a chair in early in the match to try and get Kevin Owens disqualified. Kevin Owens then takes the chair and batters the living piss out of Elias. Goes to hit Shane McMahon, referee recovers, he hands the referee the chair, low blows, hits it, sends Shane McMahon to Dick Kick City for reals, hits a stunner as the referee returns his back around. 1, 2, 3, Kevin Owens has beat Shane McMahon. And this was supposed to be Shane McMahon phasing out. Bullshit. Shane McMahon will be on Tuesday night to bitch, moan, and complain that he got cheated by Kevin Owens. So if you thought Kevin Owens was getting Shane McMahon gone, that's not happening by a mile. Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. This match was... how do I put this match? This match was boring as all hell in the beginning to majority of this match. The first half of this match was downright boring. It doesn't help with the fact that Trish Stratus hasn't had a proper match, a legit match, in over a year almost. She had a match at Evolution, but that was a tag team match with Lita. Her last singles match was, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. Trish Stratus tried her best. I will say, Trish Stratus came out in this all-black attire, except for, like, her hips. Her hips had this fleshy color attire that did not match her skin tone because she was tan as hell could be. And it was just something that, when you're watching this match, it was a complete eyesore. It was something that just, you're trying to pay attention to this match, and your eyes keep reverting to the sides of Trish's attire just because of how badly it looked. Would have went with like a silver, maybe just making that a little dark black or something, or light black or something, because it just took it. It's something that shouldn't be distracting you with somebody's attire, but when you're watching a match and you just see this odd color right there on somebody's attire, it takes away from your eyes on the match. This match could have been better. This match, again, was boring as can be. The crowd did pop when you saw Charlotte Flair get put in her own figure eight. Of course, with the fact that Charlotte Flair is so goddamn long and Trish is so goddamn tiny compared to her. Trish had the figure eight up, but she could not keep it for too long. Ends up getting in the figure eight herself as Charlotte Flair makes Trish Stratus tap out. Charlotte Flair has her hand raised. She leaves, and then the camera comes back to the ring and focuses on Trish Stratus. She got the standing ovation. She got to pose in each one of the corners. You got a thank you Trish chant. This looks to be Trish Stratus' final match in her career, but as you always know, never say never. I'm telling you right now, if WWE ever gets clearance to have a women's match in Saudi Arabia, I would not be surprised if they throw as much money as they can to Trish Stratus to have that match, be in that first match. It would not surprise me if they had like Trish Stratus versus Charlotte again, or Trish Stratus versus anybody, just to have Trish Stratus have that notch on her belt. Of course, it probably would be against Charlotte because WWE definitely would want to have Charlotte have that honor. Again, match could have been way better, but it is what it is. Kofi Kingston, man, versus Randy Orton. I missed half of this match because I'm in the middle of tweeting my thoughts out on SummerSlam, and my account got locked out. So I had to run out of the room and get to my computer, run up to my computer, and get this all settled out because the phone I have at this time doesn't have. It's not a smartphone, so I couldn't do that. I use my 3DS right now in its web browser to tweet out most of the time. So I'm sitting there tweeting, and it's like, your account has been locked out because we have figured you are suspicious of using a robot to tweet. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Maybe I was tweeting too much at the same too fast or something. I don't know. Twitter really needs to work on that. But what I've seen of this match, first off, the Kofi Kingston using the WWE Championship as a place to stuff his pancakes is an absolute disgrace and makes him look like a fucking joke of a champion. This match ended in a double countout. Like, Kofi blocked an RKO, backslash for a 2. Kofi goes to the Trouble in Paradise. More back and forth. Kofi goes to the top, flies out, but Orton catches him in midair with a massive RKO. Orton smiles, but he waits too long to go for the pin as Kofi rolls to the floor. Orton grabs Kofi right in front of his family as his kids look on, and Orton stares at the kids. Kofi sees this and snaps and unloads on Orton as the referee calls for the bell. That had to be a goddamn fast count because the referee had them counted out in no time. And the crowd chanted bullshit. The crowd was turning on Kofi Kingston, by the way, in this match. The crowd, and yeah, they did cheer when he brought a kendo stick in and started beating the hell out of Randy Orton, but by the end of this entire thing, the crowd was booing. Like, he raised the championship, and the crowd was booing Kofi Kingston. I think the steam on the Kofi Kingston bandwagon or the wheels on the bandwagon of Kofi Kingston have finally broke off, and Kofi Kingston is not the beloved babyface champion anymore. I think people are finally getting tired of Kofi Kingston. I enjoyed the championship win at WrestleMania. It was a great moment. I didn't want him to have the championship past Saudi Arabia, plain and simple. I'm just going to be honest right now. I did not want, if it wasn't for Dolph Ziggler, I would have been happy if somebody else would have won the championship. I would have been happy if Kevin Owens would have won the championship in his first match against Kofi Kingston. I never, like, the moment was fine, but I never saw Kofi Kingston. I still don't see Kofi Kingston as a serious champion past WrestleMania. He peaked at WrestleMania, plain and simple. He actually peaked before WrestleMania. The whole Kofi Mania stuff peaked before WrestleMania. They were able to bleed it out a little bit more, and you can just tell that his stock as a WWE champion has fallen too far. That quite honestly, they're just trudging this along, and this is going to be on that. We're going to get a rematch at Clash of Champions. And in my opinion, I think they're going to try and milk this as far as they can and get this into October to have Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston inside Hell in a Cell for the WWE Championship. That's my opinion right there. That Kofi Kingston will be facing Randy Orton at Clash of Champions, another fuck finish, and then we're going to go to Hell in a Cell where Randy Orton will finally win the championship and end this joke of a championship title reign. I'm just putting my opinion out there. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Finn Balor was done after the WWE Championship. They actually gave this the next to last match. I'm going to tell you this right now. Bray Wyatt's entrance was creepy as hell. First off, the theme that he used to use has been redone. It is the same exact theme, but done by a different group. Done by... It seems like it's like metal or hard rock and not what it used to be. It was like smooth rock or something before, and it's like heavy metal or something this time. The screen went dark. It said, "Let's him in," and the lights were going a lot more darker as the him in came on. Wyatt appears on stage as a Fiend, and the Fiend marches to the ring with a new rendition of the theme that he has. The first thing that you see, though, is the Fiend is holding a lantern, and not just any lantern. The Fiend is holding a lantern that looks like Bray Wyatt's face was cut off, or like, yeah, his skin was like the skin of his face was cut off and molded around this lantern. Talk about creepy as all hell and disturbing as fuck. Holy shit. Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, came out. There was a holy shit chant because we saw this entire thing. You only have one chance to make a first impression when it comes to anything. And the Fiend got over immediately. They lock up. Fiend beats down Bray Wyatt for a bit. Beats down Finn Balor for a bit. Finn Balor got his ass pretty much kicked until Sister Abigail attempt. Balor slides out and hits a sling blade, drop kicks to Wyatt, unloads with strikes. Balor tackles Wyatt and stomps. Balor with more offense as Wyatt goes down. Balor goes to the top for the coup de grace, but Wyatt catches him into the mandible claw, pins pretty much the mandible claws on. Finn Balor passes out. Ref, instead of calling for the bell, counts to 1, 2, 3, and the Fiend wins. After the match, the Fiend poses on his knees as the lights start to flash and the music hits again. The lights go all the way out. We hear Wyatt laughing. The lights happens again with the Fiend standing up. He turns. The lights go out and he disappears. The lights come back on and we see the referee checking on Balor as the fans chant, and I don't think I've ever heard this one before, "That was awesome." Not "this is awesome," that was awesome. WWE, you have a warning right here from us, the IWC, the YWC, the TWC, the TWWC. I don't care what wrestling community it is, you have a warning right now. Do not fuck this up. You have a literal star in the making right here, right now. The Fiend could be the modern day Mankind. You have, the Mankind that made his debut against The Undertaker and destroying The Undertaker, using the mandible claw on The Undertaker, talking to a dead rat, aligning himself with Paul Bearer. That type of fucking Mankind, not the corporate Mankind years later. I'm talking about the Mankind that was disturbing, had that great match at Mind Games with fucking Shawn Michaels. I'm talking about that modern day Mankind, that type of Mankind. Don't fuck this up. You fuck this up, you might as well cancel everything that WWE does. If you fuck this up and take the power from Bray Wyatt and try and make this your own, you might as well just cancel WWE. This is the closest thing that you have to a major star in the making, and if you fuck this up, then you might as well just end WWE. Because if Bray Wyatt gets fucked up, then there is no chance in hell anybody else will ever have a chance to make it. I don't want to see The Fiend go up against Roman Reigns at all until he is established as best as he can be. Because if the next challenge is Roman Reigns, we all know where that's going to go. The Fiend is going to see himself get beat by Roman Reigns. The Fiend needs to go through a tear. He needs to go undefeated. You don't have The Fiend get pinned until the Demon comes back, and then he beats the Demon. He beats the Demon. If you don't want the Fiend to go up against the Demon till WrestleMania, then fine. You find a way to keep these two away from each other until WrestleMania. That's simple. The Fiend is on Raw. Balor's on SmackDown. You keep them apart. The next time you see the Fiend versus Balor, it's at WrestleMania, where you have the SmackDown versus Raw match of the Fiend versus the Demon, in which the Fiend beats the Demon. Don't fuck this up. Period. Main event, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. The fans, oh boy, WWE has fucked Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins has fucked himself up too over the last 3 or 4 months. Boring matches with Baron Corbin, Seth Rollins going on the social media being a total jackass, going into interviews sounding like a condescending piece of shit. It has been a rough ride for Seth Rollins. They gave you probably the best Universal Championship match you will ever see tonight. This match was fantastic. This was on par with AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar or Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar for the last 2 years. This was awesome. I would like to see, this was definitely better than anything they did at WrestleMania. Why we didn't see a match like this at WrestleMania is beyond me. This was great. And Seth Rollins won clean. There was no fuck finish this time. There was no low blows leading to a bunch of things. He got a stomp in after a German suplex. He got a couple super kicks in. He got another stomp in. Brock Lesnar hit an F5 after eating 2 super kicks. And he did not get a pin because he hit the F5 and then just staggered backwards, falling into the ropes. Seth Rollins fought his way to keep himself from getting beat in this match. Seth Rollins hits a curb stomp after another... let me see what we got here. Lesnar returns to the ring, but first, after holy shit from the fans, after Brock Lesnar was super kicked on the outside onto the Spanish announce table. Spanish announce table's there. You know someone has to go through it. Since Shane McMahon didn't put Kevin Owens through the announce table earlier in the show, we decided we're going to have Seth Rollins do a frog splash onto Brock Lesnar. Referee checks on them both. They get into the ring after a holy shit chant. Burn it down chants as we have Rollins goes to the top and hits another frog splash. Rollins waits for Lesnar to get up. Rollins delivers a stomp, but Lesnar kicks it too. Rollins cranks up for another stomp as the fans chant burn it down, but Lesnar catches him mid-move. Rollins slides out of the F5, drops Lesnar with a kick to the face, comes right back, hits a third stomp, 1, 2, 3. And Seth Rollins is your new 2-time Universal Champion. By the way, Seth Rollins has more wins over Brock Lesnar than Roman Reigns. I'm just going to say that. After the match, Rollins takes the title and begins celebrating as his music hits. Lesnar is still on his back. We go to replays, and the crowd explodes. Pyro explodes inside the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto as Cole thanks us for watching. SumerSlam pay-per-view goes off the air with Rollins celebrating. And hopefully, for the last time, Brock Lesnar is not Universal Champion again. I'm hoping this is the last time Universal Championship goes to Brock Lesnar. I'm hoping this is the last time any championship is taken off of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar cannot win another championship. It doesn't help a damn thing. Hopefully, with how this match went tonight, hopefully with how this story was told tonight, this is a resurgence for Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was put in matches against Baron Corbin that killed any type of momentum they had for Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins. I cannot with Seth Rollins right now. Seth Rollins needs to go out there, and I hope when we get to Monday Night Raw tomorrow night, he doesn't come out and do some kind of bullshit promo or cut some of cheesy ass shit. He needs to come out there and just be Kobe Lopez, turned up to 11. Speak from the heart. Fuck whatever they want you to say on whatever they script you to say. Come out there and just be somebody and have somebody to challenge him. Clash of the Champions coming up. Unfortunately, in that promo, Brock Lesnar was seen. Hopefully, we're not going to get a rematch between Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. I don't want no more rematches. Brock Lesnar does not need to be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 time champion in the next 3 or 4 years. Brock Lesnar needs to go away, come back to face somebody at WrestleMania who's not a champion, and have his match at WrestleMania. But we need the Universal Championship to be on somebody. Seth doesn't need to keep it for very long. Seth needs to lose it to somebody. I was hoping Ricochet would have won tonight, but it felt like it didn't need to happen. The reason I would have had Ricochet, if I was booking it, win tonight was to have AJ Styles lay claim to be the next Universal Champion. So we would have a heel AJ Styles facing off against a babyface Seth Rollins. But that is your NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam reviews. NXT TakeOver Toronto was another fantastic show. Was it the best of the year? No. But it was another show that was definitely it wasn't a grand slam. It was definitely a 3-run homer or a 2-run homer, whatever one you want to go with. Not a grand slam, but NXT is not like NXT tries so hard to outdo themselves that sometimes it's just going to get pulled back, and this time it was a pullback. Was it a bad show? No, it was a great show. SummerSlam, on the other hand, there was something about SummerSlam that just didn't feel special. They, like TakeOver, they have months to build. And I don't want it to go to FS1, and I don't want it to go to Live, because that's going to ruin the integrity and how good NXT has been. Taping the shows, having months in advance to build matches and build TV is not going to be easy. So I'm hoping that NXT stays on the network and it stays the way it is. 1 hour, 4 weeks in advance, I don't care. It's still some of the best television. You bring it to 2 hours and you throw a Roman Reigns on there beating a Adam Cole just for the hell of it, or having a Seth Rollins come down to beat a Matt Riddle or something like that, is going to kill NXT. NXT TakeOver Toronto, again, another good show. SummerSlam, a subpar show. I'd give it a thumbs in the middle if you want to go with that. But that is NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam reviews. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter and twitch.tv/TheFranceClub. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live on Tuesday, and NXT for the Aftermath Show and episode 82 for Unscripted this coming Saturday or Sunday. Till then, my name is The France, and you guys have a good one.